As a marketer, marketing is a disciplined approach to problem solving. And the problem I've been working on over the last several years is a major issue that corporations are having to deal with, particularly with their recent grads. So let me give you a perspective of my background. I've had over 45 years of experience in marketing and with 30 as an agency owner. And I estimate I have probably interviewed at least 500 recent grads. And I've definitely been involved in the recruiting, hiring, training, and managing of well over 100. And I've come to the unfortunate conclusion that we are failing a generation of students. Let me explain. Despite the fact that 75% of managers say that critical thinking and communication are the top two skills they look for when hiring, in 3 different studies, half to 3/4 of the managers rated the recent grads they've hired poorly on these 2 skills. Now, after hundreds of thousands of dollars on a college degree, that's frankly a disgrace. But what's worse is in 2 of those studies, 2/3 to 80% of the recent grads working for those same corporations, they rated themselves proficient. They don't even realize they have issues. They take these skills for granted. It is hurting their career. It's hurting the corporation's productivity and therefore profits. And frankly, AI can't help them, and you should be able to know how to think and communicate without AI. Now, the impact of this, there's some articles, it's kind of under the radar, but I'll give you one headline from Inc. magazine that actually had 3 articles on this, but this one impacted me. $400 billion a year is being lost due to poor writing skills alone. So the question is, why is this happening? Well, people always say to me, do you think it's because social media and digital devices? And I do believe that that's part of it. The fact is that this generation has been writing more than any other time in man's history, but it's all casual, it's all interactive, it's not very structured. However, what they do is they do it so often that they've now transferred that to the workforce, where it is at best unprofessional. The other reason is because I think it's the bigger reason, there's a missing link in education. We simply don't teach some of these skills either well or at all. 60% of students indicate they never had a course in critical thinking. I actually think it's higher than that. And when it comes to writing, teachers get very little training to teach writing. Students get very little practice writing. So no training, no practice, no wonder they're not good at it. And writing is inextricably linked with critical thinking and communication. Now, what we do teach is persuasive writing, and it's a great academic exercise, but that's where we stop. And here's the problem. While it's good, it's an English teacher providing, let's say, option A and option B, and give me 3 to 5 paragraphs as to which one you agree to. It's a perfectly legitimate and very successful skill set to learn. However, it's not real world. And that's where we stop in teaching writing. In the real world, somebody doesn't give you the problems. In the real world, we need to go out and analyze the problems, come up with objectives and then strategies and creative solutions and plans to address those issues in order to achieve a goal. I call that strategic writing, and we don't teach it. So now I was taught it very early. I was very lucky to have a great mentor who on my first day said to me at lunch, the 2 things you need to do to be successful here and frankly anywhere are critical thinking to solve problems and communication, both in writing and particularly in presenting. But she didn't just tell me this. She handed me what she later called her Bible, which was a simple 1-page, 10-step briefing document. Now, you may think that seems like a very simple, minor, why are we talking about this? But let's start with, why was a briefing document created in the first place? Because a senior executive's most precious resource is time. And therefore, it is incumbent upon the junior team to take all the data and information and cull it down to the most important, pertinent points and put it into a structured, logical order so the senior executive can look at it and within a minute or 2 be able to say, I agree, I disagree, or I need more information. So, and if you think that this simple but very powerful tool is just, too minor, well, people like and companies like Procter & Gamble that probably invented it, they were all about getting things down to 1 page in a very specific order of things. And I knew a lot of guys, I didn't work there, but I knew a lot of guys who said they literally had rules as to how wide the margins could be. It had to be single space. Another person you may have heard of, Jack Welch at GE grew the company like over 30 times in 20 years. He was asked once, how did he do it? He said, very simple. I asked the top 14 business managers to give me a one-page summary on how they think they can grow their section of the business. So it's a very important thing. So now that that is the way to do it, the question is, how can I use it to help more people and help more students and help your organization? Well, I decided after COVID hit and I had nothing to do, I was totally bored, so I decided I would take what I've learned and I decided to write a book. But I abhor boring business books. I've read the top 5 business writing books. They're written by smart people. They make some good points, but they're kind of dull. And I don't think they come to give you something that you can walk away with something really tangible to use. So I decided the book that impacted me the most in my career was a simple fable written 25 years ago called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's a fable about 2 mice and 2 men in a maze. And the moral of the story is things change. You need to learn to adapt. So I decided to write a book about ducks. Yep, ducks in business, to explain how the one-page 10-step form works. And you might ask, why ducks? Well, ducks have problems too. What do you think the biggest problem with ducks have? It's duck hunters. Try to keep up. So I took that book and I decided I would write a story about ducks. And I finished it and I thought, well, this seems to do the job. But I had so many other thoughts that I wanted for my 45 years to help put into the book. I decided to help them fill out that one-page form. I decided to write an appendix. It became boring. So I ended up writing book 2. And I branded it under the same heading, Learn the Adapter Method, which stands for Analyze, Deduce, Author, Perform, Tackle, Evaluate, and Refine. And it, to me, is a fun way to learn both the concept of strategic writing and overall the entire communication and critical thinking through execution process of business. And I know it works because I've been using it for years, but it's a proven approach. Ah, that word proven. So the books were used, I'm thrilled about this. They were used in the fall at Angelo State University in the School of Kinesiology for 2 communication and PR courses to grad students. And I asked the professor, the doctor who chose them, and I said, I'm thrilled, but why? And she said, well, there's 3 reasons, right off the top. She said, 1, it was a very entertaining and short way to learn something that's important. Secondly, they can walk away with something tangible to use that you don't always get with textbooks. And third, I told them they should keep these books for the rest of their lives and use them as reference guides. So that was great. So I offered to do a speech to the class. So I did 2 3-hour Zoom classes. The students had already read the books. And then after the classes, I sent them a survey to rate the books. And the results of the survey were incredibly powerful and very positive. They said, in a nutshell, it was a fun, easy way to understand something quickly and learn. Secondly, they found that they are now walking away with something tangible they can use the rest of their lives in their career. And third is they think all college students should read these books. Okay, so I also, by the way, I developed a PowerPoint and a one-page form that the smaller companies could use, download it. Frankly, they don't even need the books. They can take the form and the PowerPoint and present it and have people adopt it. But it's up to them. But I think the books provide more information. But in closing, despite all these things I've talked about, the thing I want to impress upon you in the learning development professional group is that the important thing is you and the organization, you need to embrace it. It has to become, and I call this, you need to adopt to create a culture of communication so that communication becomes part of your DNA. It's that important. You need to have this one-page form or something like that in your employee manual to say, we use this format and this approach because we've decided we want to make sure that everybody has a structured way of thinking and communicating to improve productivity. And I guarantee it will do that. But in addition, I urge you to ask the senior managers in the organization to join what I refer to as the mentor movement, to pick a protege, to make a difference in a young person's life. and try and help them out. Because frankly, I look back on my career, I'm going to be 70 this year. I look back on my career and I've done some great things for companies and accounts we've won, and I built a business. But the thing I'm most proud of is when I look on LinkedIn and see people that I used to work with when they were 22 and now they're 42 and they've got these great titles. And some of them I'm still close to. And that's the most important part of life, is to try and help people. So join the mentor movement, pick a protege, make a difference. And frankly, it's not that hard. All they need to do is to give a duck. So thank you very much for listening. And I really hope you select me, because I'm excited by this. And I think I'm the perfect candidate to help you and your conference. Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you.